Okay, so get ready because today we're going to be diving deep into this company, Stubbs Milling Company.
Yeah,
And they're doing some really interesting things
very interesting.
with food production. And, it's all very forward-looking and maybe even a little bit sci-fi.
Oh, but yeah,
But we're going to, break it all down for you.
absolutely. And it's all based on this article we found called How Crypto and AI Are Revolutionizing the Way You Buy and Consume Food,
Yeah.
specifically focused on this company, Stubbs Milling.
Stubbs Milling. Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah, so one of the first things they talk about in this article is how Stubbs Milling Company is all in on cryptocurrency.
Yeah, they seem very excited about it.
They're like, yeah, you can pay for your eggs with Bitcoin. It's
Yeah,
going to be
it's easy.
fast, secure. You don't have to deal with banks.
Right, all the benefits that people who are into crypto like to talk about.
Exactly.
But not everyone is into crypto.
Are we all ready to be paying for our groceries with Bitcoin?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's kind of the Wild West out there still when it goes to crypto.
Yeah.
The value goes up and down like crazy.
Oh, yeah. Remember that big crash a couple of years ago?
Oh, yeah. And then there's all the environmental concerns with mining and stuff.
Right,
Like-
right. All the energy it takes
Yeah,
to do that whole thing.
exactly. It's definitely something to think about.
But I mean, I do see what they're trying to do, that they're trying to be at the forefront of this whole decentralized
Yeah.
payment system.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of cutting out the middleman,
Right.
the banks, the credit card companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like you and the farmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's appealing, but
Yeah.
there's definitely challenges.
Yeah, I think so too.
Security regulation,
Mm-hmm.
not quite there yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, on top of that, we were just talking about crypto, but the AI side of what they're doing is even crazier.
Oh, yeah. That's where it gets really wild.
Imagine AI monitoring all the livestock, keeping them healthy, making sure they're fed on time.
Yeah, it's like this super efficient data-driven farm manager.
24/7.
Exactly. Never sleeps.
Doesn't need a day off.
Nope. And it's all about this concept of precision agriculture.
Precision agriculture.
Yeah, using data and AI to make hyper-specific decisions about every aspect of the farm.
Down to the individual
Plant. Yeah,
Yeah. Chicken.
exactly. Like how much water this plant needs, how much fertilizer that one needs.
So less waste.
Way less waste, ideally.
More food.
Potentially a lot more food.
So, I mean, that sounds great in theory, but
Yeah,
are we going to be losing out on some of the quality
that's the question.
of our food?
If it's all about maximizing efficiency and output, what happens to taste, variety,
Right.
nutrition?
Could we end up with just a few types of crops that are super high yield, but maybe not as
Tasty.
tasty or nutritious?
Exactly. That's a real concern with this kind of optimization.
Yeah. And what about the animals? We were talking about them being monitored by AI constantly.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like for the animal?
Yeah, they don't really go into detail in the article.
No.
Is it camera sensors?
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a way it's good if it can catch diseases early,
Right. Potentially prevent outbreaks,
Yeah.
improve overall animal welfare, but
But it could also be stressful for the animal.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Constant surveillance.
Well, you watch all the time.
Yeah, it could be a bit big brother-ish.
Yeah, and if the system's main focus is on efficiency,
Yeah,
then it might not be making the best choices for the animal's long-term well-being.
right. It might just be looking for the quickest, cheapest solution to any problem.
Yeah. So it's definitely not all sunshine and roses with this technology.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
There are trade-offs.
So it's they're saying crypto and AI can work together
Yeah.
to improve the food system, but
Yeah, crypto streamlines the transactions.
Right.
And AI ensures the quality and sustainability of the food itself.
But is that really how it's going to play out?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I think the crypto thing still feels a bit like a gimmick.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe it's just because
It's still new.
it's so new.
A lot of people don't really get it,
Yeah.
and it's kind of scary to some people.
It is scary.
Yeah, so it's hard to say if it'll really take off in the long run.
Yeah. And I think that's a good place to leave it for now.
Yeah.
We'll come back and we'll talk more about, whether this model can actually scale up
Yeah,
and impact the entire food industry.
and what it might mean for you,
Yeah, what it means for you listening.
the average consumer.
But before we move on, there was this one thing in the article that I thought was really interesting.
Okay.
They painted this picture of you walking into a farmer's market, you know?
Yeah.
And you see all these like beautiful fruits and vegetables,
Yeah.
and you pull out your phone. You scan a QR code with your like crypto wallet, and boom, you know exactly where that food came from,
Wow.
how it was produced, everything.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that?
It's appealing,
Yeah.
but it also makes you think,
Yeah.
like not everyone has a smartphone.
Right.
Not everyone is comfortable with technology
Or crypto.
or crypto.
Yeah. So like, is this future
Yeah.
really accessible to everybody?
That's the question.
Yeah. And that's something we're going to
Yeah.
dig into a lot more.
Definitely. So stick with us.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Definitely. And, we were just talking about how AI is being used to like monitor the animals and optimize everything on the farm.
Yeah, that whole super efficient farm manager thing.
Right. But like we were saying before, it's not all as simple as it sounds.
No, there are definitely some potential downsides we need to think about.
For sure. Like what happens if this focus on efficiency and data actually leads to less variety in the food we eat? Right. Like instead of having all these different kinds of apples and tomatoes,
Yeah.
we end up with just a few that are like super productive, but maybe not as tasty or nutritious.
Exactly. The algorithms might just decide that those are the most profitable or easiest to grow.
And then that's all we get.
Pretty much. And it's not just about produce either. What about the animals?
Yeah, we were talking about the AI monitoring them constantly.
Right. But like, how does that actually work?
Yeah, what does that actually look like?
Is it cameras everywhere? Are they using sensors? Are they tracking every move the animals make?
I mean, it's good if it can catch diseases early,
Yeah, that's the potential upside.
prevent outbreaks.
But it could also be really stressful for the animals.
Imagine being watched all the time.
Yeah, it could be kind of a dystopian farm situation.
Yeah, and what if the system is just programmed to like fix problems as cheaply as possible?
Right, it might not be considering the animal's long-term well-being.
It's like a quick fix.
Exactly, and that's not really ethical, is it?
Not really. So yeah, we've got these potential issues with like less variety in our food and animal welfare. But then there's the whole question of what happens to the people.
Oh yeah, the human element.
Like what about all the farmers and farm workers?
Yeah, if AI is taking over more and more tasks,
Are they going to lose their jobs?
that's a real concern. And while some people argue that AI will create new jobs in agriculture,
Right.
those jobs will probably require totally different skills.
Yeah, like you'd need to know how to program the AI.
Exactly, or analyze all the data it collects.
So what happens to the people who don't have those skills?
That's the big question. And it's something we need to think about carefully because we don't want to leave anyone behind.
Right, it's supposed to be progress, not just for like tech companies.
Exactly, it should benefit everyone.
Okay, so we've talked about potential downsides for food variety, animal welfare, and the impact on labor.
Right, but what about the environment?
Yeah, the article makes it sound like AI is going to be great for sustainability.
Yeah, it definitely has that
It-
potential.
Like how, so,
Well, think about it. AI can optimize how much water and fertilizer each plant gets.
okay, yeah,
So less waste.
less runoff.
Exactly, which is good for the environment and ultimately for us too.
That makes sense. But doesn't all this technology require a lot of energy to run?
That's a really important point. A lot of people forget about the energy consumption of all these sensors and cameras and data centers.
Yeah, so if that energy is coming from fossil fuels,
Then it kind of cancels out some of the environmental benefits.
right, so even though AI has the potential to make agriculture more sustainable,
Yeah.
it's not a guaranteed win.
That's not a magic solution.
You have to be smart about how we use it.
Exactly. We need to make sure it's actually helping the planet
Yeah.
and not just making things more efficient for big companies.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's about finding a balance
Yeah.
between technology and sustainability.
And making sure it benefits everyone.
So we've talked about a lot of different aspects of this Stubbs Milling Company,
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
but like the big question is, can this actually work?
All right, is this just like a cool experiment
Yeah,
or is this the future of food?
yeah, like how do we even begin to answer that question?
Well, I think we have to start with the cryptocurrency piece of it
Okay.
because even though there are some potential benefits like we talked about,
Right.
a lot of people are still hesitant to use cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's still kind of confusing.
It is, and then there's all the regulatory uncertainty.
Oh, yeah. Governments are still trying to figure out what to do with it.
Exactly. So that could create some roadblocks for companies like Stubbs Milling.
And even if people do start using crypto, more widely,
Yeah.
we have to think about accessibility.
Right. Not everyone has the technology or the knowledge to participate in a system like this.
Yeah, like what about people who don't have smartphones or reliable internet access?
Exactly. They could get left behind.
And that's not what we want.
No, we want a food system that works for everyone.
And beyond the practical stuff,
Yeah.
there are these bigger societal questions too.
A lot.
Like what happens to our communities if we move away from traditional farmers markets and grocery stores?
Right. Will we lose those personal connections?
Yeah.
Will it be harder to support local businesses?
It's kind of a trade-off, right?
It is.
Because on the one hand, a decentralized system could be good for smaller farmers.
Yeah, it could give them more control over their businesses.
Right. But on the other hand, it could make our food system more impersonal.
Yeah, and potentially less resilient.
So it's not a simple issue.
No, it's really complex.
But at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is for people to be aware of what's happening.
Yes, to be informed
Just
consuming.
to ask questions about where their food comes from.
How it's produced.
Yeah, and what impact their choices have
On the environment.
on their communities.
On the world.
It's about more than just what you buy at the grocery store.
It's about shaping the future of food.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I hope we've given you some things to think about
Definitely.
and some questions to ask yourself.
Like, what role do you want to play in this?
Yeah, what kind of food system do you want to see in the future?
And how can you make choices that support that vision?
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive,
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it.
and we'll see you next time. Bye.